studies have shown that we actually don't really know what we want. Like we think we do. We all come in with this like so-called checklist, and I'm guilty of that as well myself. But I'm learning like through this process that, I think that let's kind of, strip it down to the bare bones, like being naked about this process. Like what is it that is truly important to you, right? At least our top priorities. And I think for a lot of us, it's really the life goals, right? Sure, we all need some degree of like physical attraction, but we all know that doesn't take you too far. So figure out what it is that you're compatible with that goes beyond some of the so-called labels, and just keep an open mind that perhaps that this person may not be the perfect fit based on the check boxes, but you will really surprise yourself and be amazed at where that takes you. So yes, thank you for bringing that up.
Yes, amazing. I want to also go back to the YCO Romance app. What are some of the highlights in this?
Hey there, my friend. Welcome to the Powerful and Passionate Healthcare Professionals podcast. I'm your host, Sabrina. I am a cardiothoracic surgery PA with a background in public health and neuroscience. I'm also your peak performance coach. I had to say no to working extreme long hours where I was always on call and feeling exhausted, underappreciated, and undervalued, and said heck yes to a life and career that elevates my energy and passion without compromising my health and sanity. Now I'm on the mission to support ambitious healthcare professional like you with a demanding career to become a confident leader who are living purposefully and fulfilled to truly be both a powerhouse in your career and a passionate person in life. Let's start our journey today.
Hello, everyone. This is Sabrina, your host for the Powerful and Passionate Healthcare Professionals podcast. And we have a special guest today, Dr. Chrystene. We met in the group she founded called YCO Romance. So listen, everyone who's listened to the show, you guys are powerful and passionate healthcare professionals, and that's why we're here. And part of that 10 key pillars I always talk about is what? Love and relationship. And part is social support, right? So how can we as servant and as the people who love to provide for others, treat other people, but also have that intense intimacy, romance in our own life. So Dr. Chrystene, she's actually a board certified physician in Southern California. She's a family practice and lifestyle medicine practitioner. Yes, there is a such thing called lifestyle medicine, everyone. And she believes a majority of part of optimal health, including how we can be supportive in our relationship, in your community, and your social connection, and especially during the COVID quarantine. She started Facebook called the YCO Romance. And she is actually seeing the gap into our dating life online and creating a new app for healthcare professionals who are singles. I'm so excited for her to share her vision, share her knowledge, share the space on virtual single mingling. Hi, Chrystene.
Hi there. Thank you so much, Sabrina, for the really wonderful introduction. And I'm just so excited to be here to chat with you and our audience about, what's happening in our space. And I am really so inspired by all the work that you're doing to support healthcare professionals. So thank you again. And it's truly an honor for me to be here.
Awesome. Amazing. I definitely love it for you to be here as well. And I think the more we connect, the more we support each other in the healthcare space, we're just going to be exponentially growing all together instead of feeling like alone, right? And sometimes the other people who are not in our space going to feel like, wow, we're devoting so much time, energy, schooling, and more research is more acolyte, but despite how many people around us, we're still feeling that lonely wolf who's like fighting and chasing. So how did you get to the idea of YCO Romance and really tapping into that relation piece for healthcare professionals?
Yeah. So I would say like all this really came out of it's the silver lining of the COVID quarantine. I do work in urgent care. And I was feeling very quite isolated, with the physical distancing from our family, our friends, and most of our peers. I felt like the only friends that felt comfortable to hang out with me were my friends in healthcare. And, because felt like we had the COVID cuties, and I joke about it, but at the same time, I understand, and I knew that I wasn't alone as well as my friends that, were in my little bubble. And I knew there was this larger community out there and we could all come together and support each other during this time. So that's how I formed this community called White Coat Romance, which started as a Facebook group back in July of 2020. So I can't believe how much time has elapsed since then and how much we have grown and how much this community has come to be such a wonderful support for friendship, as well as that potential for the romantic relationships that has evolved since then. It's such a beautiful thing.
Exactly. And your group is very active. You have these question prompts that people answer every day, small encouragement messages. You know what? Like 1 year, we can accomplish so much. My show, actually, July 1st was last year, was the time when I launched this show. So now we're like perfectly a year.
Oh my gosh, you would have thought. I mean, it's amazing, like just following some of the work that you're doing and how far you've come along. Like I would have never thought it was like that recent because you're like a pro at all this. And I'm just like following in your footsteps.
You're also a pro in just communicating and connecting people together and have them being super engaged. I think relationship sometimes can be that very private moment that people wanted to keep behind doors, almost like a status symbol from a career side. Oh, who do you have as your partner, who you're dating, who do you have as whether you're supposed to have kids, whether you're supposed to already be married, is supposed to have all XYZ, right? And that's to me feel like while are getting older and wiser, do we really have to cast ourselves as someone of importance or someone just simply, I enjoy being me and having that +1, it's just a highlight of my day and no longer feeling like, oh, I need it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We've accomplished so much. And yet, a lot of us, including myself, can feel so lonely, like so much of the time. And a lot of us are also shy and like being single and not really putting ourselves out there. And I think also just to be fair, beyond that is I think we have made so many sacrifices being healthcare professionals and we haven't come first. Like it's been our family, it's been our patients, and we've always sort of put ourselves in the back burner. So my goal is that I feel like the time is now and it's long overdue for us to make ourselves a priority. Let's be out there and let's make these new connections and let's see where all this can take us. And, we all know that, finding your partner is like one of the biggest decisions, if not the biggest decisions that you could ever make in your lifetime that affects your health, it affects your wealth, it affects your happiness, and even your sanity. So it's such an important decision that we make that we have neglected, because so much of our lives have been, a big chunk of it has been dedicated to our career, right? The attainment of our career, to the maintenance of our career. And yet we don't put as much focus in our, romantic relationships like we should.
You're so right on the spot. And despite how much we tried, and some people, they're going through residency, they're going to school, and they're getting married, doing those crazy odd years. And rest of the people are just dating here and there. And because how crazy our lifestyle, the demand is from our career, and other people sometimes don't get it, or we actually not allowing them to understand us enough, and therefore we're not able to keep that steady relationship. So once we get out of that, right, like all of the beginning of year, what do you feel like are some of the challenges of us dating right now?
Oh my goodness. Like, we all know how busy we are, as healthcare professionals, the work we do. And a lot of us, like yourselves and other professionals out there, we have other identities, other interests, other hobbies that we do. And because of all that, there's not a whole lot of room for us to meet other individuals that is our, quote unquote match, right? The match that a lot of us desire that has similar intellectual, financial, as well as life goals as we do. So in our day-to-day life, that just seems nearly impossible at times, unless you have like a huge network network of friends. So that's why this has led me to realize that I'd like to make a bigger impact and have been in the process of developing the White Coat Romance dating app, which is, is a dating app. And, of course, not a lot of us love dating apps too much, but that's the reason why I wanted to do this, because I want to create an app that myself and my friends and our larger healthcare community would like to use. And so the ones that are not littered with all the fake profiles and the ones that, doesn't lead you to do this all this endless sorting and sifting the time that we don't have for it, and to find that complete match that we all desire. And it's so long overdue. And I really wish that for everyone. So I can't wait to see where all this takes us. And, for the possibility of this app to be able to add happiness to our lives.
Exactly. Bunch of my friends who are in the healthcare field do feel like they want to somehow date people who are also in it, just because you have similar understanding of people might working day, night shifts, might have to take calls on the night and weekends, and it's not exactly set, right? The hours doesn't mean that you're supposed to be leaving, and you might still have a patient who walk in late. And what are you going to just tell them to reschedule? Sometimes we feel bad if they have to reschedule, but if we continue to push at another patient, now we never go home ourselves. So it's the constant battle of what it is. Or some other people, I ask them, they believe it's just the nature. They didn't technically ruled out any other profession at all. It just somehow it become easier conversation when you're in that similar caliber. Do you feel the same way, or do you feel like there's some specific gap when you're doing virtual online dating or from your friends and they have specific issues or gap that they want to resolve at this time?
Yeah, certainly. If I understand your question correctly, I mean, it's really hard to find that match, right? We're such a diverse community without a doubt, yet we have that similarity where a lot of us do want to find that partner who understands what it is, like you said, what we do on every single day, right? All the unique challenges of our profession, as well as just being able to form that partnership with someone who has a similar life goals as you do down the road. And it's a lot. It's a lot, a lot of factors to consider. And to be able to find that, I think currently where we're at, it's highly, highly challenging. So I am wanting to provide this another platform where we can broaden this community, where perhaps like the person, your partner could be someone's friend, someone's colleague, perhaps someone on another, coast of the country that you have never thought about considering. So let's expand our horizons and see where, all this can take all of us.
Exactly. And even dating feel like we wanted to constrain into a geographical location, but online platform gave us the availability. I'm in Houston. Now there are major cities in Austin, Dallas. If people who are willing to travel, Woodlands, whatnot, they can. And people doesn't need to be set, right? And you can meet someone even across the country. You're that clicked. Guess what? Our job allow us to move around relatively easily, that we have the option to pick up and go. Unless you feel like you have completely built a community in your existing city that there's no way that you're moving, but maybe your potential partner has that opportunity as well. And we've seen this all over the place. So be able to just be open, I think that's really the number one, be able to be open to have a conversation, just go down deeper in that human level, and not thinking too difficult of restricting on your time, on your schedule, on your location, or even down to the itty bitty list of everything. So I think one thing I talked to one of the relationship experts, yes, you can probably write a list of your perfect man or your perfect woman. But if you want to just match that list, it's probably going to take you a lot more patience and a lot more time. But if you just write down your absolute core, right, for an individual, then it's much easier to build on top of that. Would you agree in that? Or do you have some like core things that you definitely look forward to?
Yeah, you've totally nailed it, Sabrina, and that's so absolutely true. And I would encourage everyone to keep an open mind as well. Studies have shown that we actually don't really know what we want. Like we think we do. We all come in with this like so-called checklist, and I'm guilty of that as well myself. But I'm learning like through this process that, I think that let's kind of, strip it down to the bare bones, like being naked about this process. Like what is it that is truly important to you, right? At least our top priorities. And I think for a lot of us, it's really the life goals, right? Sure, we all need some degree of like physical attraction, but we all know that doesn't take you too far. So figure out what it is that you're compatible with that goes beyond some of the so-called labels, and just keep an open mind that perhaps that this person may not be the perfect fit based on the check boxes, but you will really surprise yourself and be amazed at where that takes you. So yes, thank you for bringing that up.
Yes, amazing. I want to also go back to the White Coat Romance app. What are some of the highlights in this app that you're building that you're just not seeing anywhere else, and that's why you're creating this app?
Yeah, absolutely. If I may just zoom out a little bit and just kind of give the audience a general feel of the dating app. The dating app is going to be a much larger community than the Facebook group. Currently, the Facebook group is more of a limited audience only because of my limitation in managing a Facebook group. But the White Coat Romance dating app is going to be a larger community of white coat professionals with healthcare, doctorate and master's degrees, health science, as well as PhDs and doctoral candidates. So it's going to be a much, much larger community. And within this app, it's going to be a specialty app. And that's something that I wanted to design because there's no need to reinvent the wheel. Let's look at the issue that we've all had with all of our pain points with dating apps out there. And let's, that's why I wanted to create a product, like I said earlier, that myself and my friends in the community would like to use. So first and foremost, the verification, it's going to be largely going to require NPI, National Provider Identifier verification, or if you don't have one, something comparable. So at least at the minimum. Aside from that, we're obviously going to be excluding big bulk of the kind of like the screening process. Aside from that, it's going to be some of the biggest kind of like preferences that we each have. Perhaps it may be a certain location that may be important to you. Perhaps it may be a certain groups of professionals within a certain healthcare profession that may be important to you. Perhaps it may be due to certain lifestyle measures that you have that's important to you. So, you mentioned and I mentioned as well, let's be aware of that, but let's also keep an open mind and let's make this work for you. And this is, it's going to be an introduction. And certainly at the end of the day, you want to be able to like get out there and get to know people. And we don't want to be stuck on dating apps forever, right? We want to be able to actually meet people and talk to people and have those dates like in person, whether it's or virtual, right? To begin with. Because that's what's going to make it work, not this endless like texting and like all the talk out there about, so-and-so not responding and the ghosting. And let's take all that negativity out there and let's focus on what it is that's truly important.
Perfectly said. I think one thing about having a conversation on app, text message is just based on convenience. You can respond when you want to. But if you add another level of just even send a voice message, then you know that level of communication, intonation, how excited you could be doing that message can show through. And then you add the virtual, or you be comfortable, you have a great conversation, go ahead, just meet someone. And what's the harm than taking an hour, 2 hours, having a coffee day or dinner with someone? And the only thing that's costing you is potentially you made a friend, or at least that is not the type of people that you want to have a relationship with. And it's become a learning lesson.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've learned so much from all the people that I've met that have just, we ended up becoming friends because we weren't exactly the right match for each other. And we have moved on to like introduce each other to other people that would be a better match, right? So it's all about expanding your network and making new friends and learning new things from each other. And at the end of the day, let's put all that positive energy in there. And I think what you put out is what you'll get back. And so I'm a strong believer in that. And it's kind of like what you're doing right now, Sabrina, and all the great work that you're doing to support our community, which I really appreciate a lot. And I have so much respect for you for doing that. So I thank you again.
Thanks, Chrissy. Well, we know Relationship is one of the major pillars, and it's hard for us to be able to tap into all the pillars and be able to master all of them. And that's why one of the major things we talk about in psychology is self-determination theory on self-reflection. And I asked our speakers to do a little quick self-reflection to see where their whole life will is. So Chrystene, she took the assessment, and your highest level, drum roll, is love and family, of course, right? Now we're on the topic. And the other thing that you're really, really good at is social life. So we know these are the amazing areas that you can leverage more and more, right? And then one of the lowest thing that you put out there is actually quality of life. Overall, you like to focus on your mental well-being, your love relationship, your quality of life, your financial intelligence, your career, and your personal mission. And you also said, now, this is a big topic I always talk about, right? Time barrier is one thing.
Yes.
And then I'm all about how do you build mental immunity to help our healthcare leaders and their team to increase your productivity while saving yourself hours a week, right? So are you surprised by the result? Anything pop into your mind when you took it?
Yeah, not at all. And it's been a work in progress. And it's something that I'm making more of an effort to work on, especially with the path that I'm going forward and all the goals that I would like to achieve, and just learning to balance. Because, part of the issue is to be able to, if you want to like fit everything in, right? And having time for your career as well as having time for that person, your personal life, and making time for those romantic connections that I am like a proponent, all about and very passionate about, that I need to, learn to be able to find the time to do that myself, and to do it in a way that doesn't create all the stress that tends to go along with it, but to do a way to find that you're at peace with yourself and to be able to live your life in a way that feels very balanced and feel very whole.
Exactly. We're looking for that whole life so you can be both, right? Having two double win in that professional side and the personal side. It's all about how do you focus and be so sharp on the right things that move you forward in life, and then time become endless and no longer be a restriction in what we wanted to achieve and have in life. So amazing that you're sharing so many good nuggets with us and building this amazing app. How can people find the app? I know it's still in development, or even just waitlist themselves to hear about the announcement or connect with you.
Yeah, so certainly you can go check out the website, whitecoatromance.com. And if you'd like, you can click on the link to join the email list to get updates about the dating app in development. I'm very excited to announce that probably by the end of this month easily that the beta version will be available. And then hopefully by the end of August, the final version. So yes, certainly do come join our community or join the email list and get updates about the dating app. Or even if you're not a single, white coat professional and you'd like to be a matchmaker, please do spread the love and support our community and help us find happiness and love.
Yes, I definitely have someone already in mind who is a matchmaker that you should talk to. So we'll make that connection. I always love being that super connector.
Yes, you are so good at it too. I think everyone is so drawn to like your energy and your positivity. And I myself, very much gravitates towards, people like you as well, which is why this has brought us together.
Yeah, exactly. You never know who you meet, right? Like you're always 6 feet apart from someone that's great, that has amazing network, just like yours. And then you cross-pollinate, become something amazing and blossom. I am so thankful that you are here with us. And thanks everyone for joining, whether you listen to this live or you listen to this on our podcast. We would love for you to subscribe so you never miss out any great episodes from our speakers. And please leave us a review by commenting below or on iTunes so we know what you really love so we can bring you the right speakers to feed those areas. Until next time, bye guys.
All right, my friend, how did you love this episode? Make sure to subscribe to our show so you can continue to build your positive intelligence for that beautiful mind of yours to live powerfully and passionate. I know this is just the tip of the iceberg. You probably have a lot more questions on actually how do I implement those things into my own life? Well, this is the solution. Joining us inside the private Facebook group, go to facebook.com/groups/powerful passionate, where I go live weekly to answer any questions that you have and continue to put more resources for you to help you to get to that point. You can be both powerful and passionate, where you're no longer working on any mundane work and truly focusing on the things that matter. You can be both powerful and passionate, where you can overcome any mental roadblocks keeping you from success. You can be both powerful and passionate, where you feel energized from the moment you woke up to the time you go to bed. Join me, and together we can create a life where you can be both powerful and passionate.